Welcome back, everyone. So we are in week 5, and just to warn you, the next few weeks will be quite busy. So just kind of prepare yourself because there'll be some added work that you'll be doing. And as you can kind of see here, the lists are getting a little longer here. Okay, so give yourself some extra time. So let's take a look. So this week we're going to dive into how cells harvest energy with chapter 5. So at the end of chapter 4, we took a look at how, enzymes and a little bit of physics with the laws of thermodynamics and a little bit about energy. And so this week we're going to actually dive into cellular respiration. And this can be a tricky topic for some students. So, I really highly suggest that, you pay close attention to my videos. I hopefully make it a lot more clear to you in the videos. So I've taught this course many times, and so I try to make it as easy as possible. And when you go through the videos, the best way to learn it is to make a chart and pay close attention to each stage of cellular respiration and focus in on the inputs and the outputs of each stage. So what goes into the cycle and what comes out. So if you have that, then it'll make a lot more sense. Okay, so that's my tip. Okay, so we have 4 different videos, and pay close attention as you walk your way through the chapter. And of course, we have our unit objectives to kind of help you organize your notes. All right. And I believe in the study aids, let's see, you might want to take advantage of the extra videos that are available. So we have, some great videos that help visualize the different processes. So use those study aids this week in particular if you haven't, been using them so far. All right. So once you have that done, you can jump down and take a look at the worksheet. Okay, so the worksheet this week, we have some matching. Okay, so in the first exercise, you're going to read the description here and decide, is it referring to glycolysis, the citric acid cycle, or oxidative phosphorylation? So you're just going to abbreviate which stage for the particular description. So G for glycolysis, CA for citric acid cycle, and OP for oxidative phosphorylation. All right. So the next exercise, we're trying to fill in this figure here. So we have all of these terms here, and we're applying it to this figure. So in the figure, we have the 3 main stages of cellular respiration. So oxidative phosphorylation and the citric acid cycle and glycolysis. Okay, so note that 3, 6, and 7 are the processes. So 3, 6, and 7 are these processes. So that gives you a clue. So 3, 6, and 7 are either glycolysis, citric acid cycle, or oxidative phosphorylation. Number 8 and number 9 are 8 and 11 are places. So 11 is a place and 8 is a place. So a place would be, mitochondria and cytoplasm. So that's, pretty easy to figure out, what's this thing, what's outside of that thing. And then all the other are inputs and outputs. So if you, did my suggestion and wrote inputs and outputs for each of the processes, then it should be easy to fill in, okay, what was the input for this process? What was, an output of this process? What was another output of this process? And then the starbursts represent the number produced of ATP. So that means that number 12, 13, and 14 must be, ATP. And then inside the starburst, you're going to write the number, the amount of ATP. And notice this last one is bigger, so it'll be a bigger number. Okay. So even though it looks kind of complicated at first, once you go through it, you're just going to be kind of putting in these terms next to the different numbers here. In exercise 3, we have, again, a matching exercise, but this one we're just focusing on glycolysis. So in glycolysis, we have all of our terms here and then all of the descriptions here. Just remember, though, that some terms are used twice. So some of these might be used twice. And then finally, in exercise 4, we're focusing on oxidative phosphorylation. So we have the electron transport chain and then chemiosmosis. So here you're going to have to take out, some coloring pencils. If you're printing it out, just use, 3 different colors. You can do 3 different color pens, a highlighter, 3 different, whatever, crayons, I don't care. And then label it. If you're doing this typing up, then choose 3 different colors. So the first color, you're going to trace the movement of electrons. So that'll be one color. Then you're going to trace the movement of hydrogen ions. So that'll be another color. And then finally, the formation of ATP. That'll be the third arrow. Okay, so if you're having trouble, your textbook has this diagram, something similar to it, okay, so that might help you. So once you have that completed, you'll go ahead and submit it for points. In addition to your weekly worksheet, the homeostasis worksheet that I introduced last week is due this week. So that was on diffusion and osmosis with a urinary excretory system, okay, so make sure that you submit that 15-point assignment by Sunday midnight. Okay? And then we have our lab for this week, so that I have a video to help you work through it. So the lab topic is on cellular respiration. You'll be watching some videos to help you work your way through the lab manual part. So the first part, you'll be watching videos and completing that in your lab manual with the help of the supplement. And then the last part, you'll be performing your experiment. So last week, remember how you submitted your scientific proposal. Okay, so that scientific proposal worksheet, please go back and review any feedback that I provided before you actually go ahead and start your lab. All right, so look at and see if I wrote any feedback for your experiment. Make those changes before you actually perform your experiment. And then with that, my scientific cellular respiration video, I kind of give you an overview. Here's the SciGuy fermentation experiment that you should be watching before you perform your own experiment, as well as, in the supplement directions, it will guide you through. All right. Don't forget, when you're performing your own experiment, you should be taking pictures of your experimental setup, including throughout the experiment, you should be taking pictures, and one of those pictures should include yourself. Okay. Once you're done with your lab, you're going to be submitting your lab manual pages for credit. You don't need to submit pictures of your experiment because that's going to go in your lab report. So this is just the lab manual pages. And then you have your reviewing your knowledge assignment that goes along with the lab manual. Okay. In addition to your normal assignments this week, you should be preparing for the midterm exam. So the midterm starts next Sunday at 8 a.m. and it will be available through next Tuesday, midnight. So you'll have 3 days to take your midterm exam. And that's in lieu of, you don't have a quiz on Unit 5, so you'll be taking a midterm exam instead. So that midterm exam, to help you prepare, we do have a midterm review guide that will help you. You can also, to help prepare you, just download, blank copies of your objectives for each unit, and I recommend just filling them out from memory, okay? Or downloading the review guide, filling that out from memory, and then whatever you can't fill out from memory, that's where you need to focus your studying. All right. And then for the midterm itself, it's located in week 6. Okay, so week 6, it's right here. So you can read more about it if you want. It'll be located right there. Okay, so if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great week.